Hi guys, this is Dom, and today I'm really excited because I'm here to show you a brand new synthesizer from our HALion partner M67. Ladies and gentlemen, this is RAST-A. RAST-A is a synthesizer that runs inside HALion, HALion Sonic and HALion Sonic SE and recreates the sound of an iconic polyphonic analog synth of the 80s. What makes this synth so special is that it's carefully designed to emulate all the nuances and sound variations that we typically associate with analog polyphonic synthesizers. And what I really like about it is that it sounds super warm and super wide. So let's dive right in. First, let me give you a quick tour of the interface. RAST-A has a very simple, streamlined, and logical interface. There are not a million knobs and buttons and switches, but you can get a great sound very easily because the oscillators and the filters sound really good. So let me explain the sections a little bit. They're very simple. First, we have the oscillator section right here, and I can basically change the waveform of the oscillator, so I can go from sawtooth to pulse. I can change the frequency. Then I can introduce a second oscillator. And how do I do that? I just go here on the filter section. I can introduce the second oscillator fully to the filter or half, so 50% of the oscillator. So let's see how it sounds. So now we have the second oscillator. Let's change the frequency. And maybe I want to go pulse instead. I can, of course, sync the oscillators. I can introduce ring modulation. So you can get some really nice gritty sounds out of this. Very cool. Now, okay, I'm not trying to create a sound right here, but I'm going to go to the filter section. So now I can just show you how the filter sounds like. It's a very smooth, very warm, very analog sounding filter. Let me show you. And of course, like with everything on HALion Sonic SE, I can just right click, learn CC, and then I can say, okay, now I want to assign this to my controller right here. So now let's try the resonance now. And now, of course, if I want to, I can activate the modulation, which basically enables the filter envelope. Right here, we have the envelopes. We have the filter envelope and the loudness envelope. So, very simple ADSR, but then we can also activate the filter by using the modulation control right here. Then on the top left, we have the LFO section right here. And here I can activate my LFO. So basically I can say, I want to activate my LFO. I can select the different types. I can select the depth. I can affect the oscillator 1 with the LFO like this. Or maybe oscillator 2. Or I can even assign the LFO to the filter. Or I can even assign the LFO to the pulse width. So you can get some really thick sounds like this. On the very left, we have another section with controls for the portamento. We can turn on the unison mode, which basically stacks all the voices together so you can get ultra thick sounds like a classic polyphonic analog synth. Let's activate it. I can detune the oscillator too, and I also have controls for the pitch bend. So I can say I want to have a broad range of the pitch bend, that's an octave, or just a full tone. And I can have the pitch bend affect only oscillator too. So these are the basic controls of RAST-A. But there's another control that you should know, and it's one of the most important things in RAST-A, and it gives it this amazing sound. It makes it sound alive. It has all the controls that allow you to create a very analog-like sound, a very organic sound. So this is the control that we're talking about. This is the panel, and we can open it. And here we have a plethora of options that you can try. For example, the first thing, very simply, you can add delay to your sound like this. I can just turn it on. Or I can turn it off. I can sync it, of course. I can change the feedback level, all these simple controls. Next, we have the arpeggiator. So here I can activate an arpeggiator and create some really nice, 80s-like patterns. Change the octave range. So very, very simple arpeggiator, but that's what made those synths back in the day so special. They were very simple, but the sound was great. Next up, we have the more parameter section where we can apply velocity sensitivity to the amplitude or the filters. So basically I can say, I want the sound to be louder when I play louder on the keyboard, or I want the filter to be more sensitive when I play louder so it opens even more. So when I hit the note hard, the filter opens even more. And then we have the controls that create all the magic, that create this amazing, organic, really, really lush sound of the RAST-A. So these are the voice detune controls. And basically what you can do in a nutshell, if you want to know more in-depth information about all these controls, go and check out the video that we've done when we do sound design with RAST-A. But very, very quickly, you can basically have slightly different tuning for the voltage control oscillators, the modal oscillators, slightly different variations on the filter, the envelopes, the portamento. The portamento I'm going to show you very quickly right now. I'm going to create a very, very wide portamento range. If I have the portamento detune all the way down, you will see that all voices will have the same time for portamento. And now let's turn it all the way up. So you can see that each voice has a different portamento time, slightly different portamento time, and the sound becomes really, really thick. This is a very typical sound of those 80s classic polysynths. Then, of course, we can have trim for the panning, so we can spread the voices even more like this. Super, super wide. This is like polysynth heaven right there. And of course, the most important control is the drift control, which basically emulates the drift of the voltage control oscillators, that gives these analog synths this organic, really, really unpredictable little fluctuations in the sound. You can get really warm, rich sounds that are very, very musical. And let me show you very quickly how it sounds without it. And I'm going to turn it on and you will see what I mean. So that's without the drift. and that's with the drift. Pay attention to the sound of the oscillators and all those fluctuations. See how the sound moves? It's not static, so still the same single note, but without it, it sounds digital. The life is gone, it's not alive. When I turn it on, it's moving. It has a little bit of character, even though it's just two simple oscillators right there. Now, all the rest of the parameters refer to these controls of every individual voice. For example, pan trim, I can pan each voice individually, and I can, adjust the panning. I can trim the VCO, so variation in the pitch right there for the oscillator 1 and oscillator 2. Same goes for the filter, so we can have small variations in the filter. Then we have the envelope trim and the filter envelope trim. And of course, in the end, we also have the portamento trim, so I can have control over each voice and the portamento time. A very cool thing if you're trying to design a sound is that you can basically change the colors of each individual panel. For example, I can say I want to click on the oscillator panel and make it black. Maybe I want to go to my envelopes and turn them green, and go to my filters, and maybe I want to change this panel to red. This is very, very helpful if you're trying to build a sound and you want to have a nice visual feedback and distinguish the different sections. I think it works really, really nice. Right, so now let me play for you some of the sounds that you can find in RAST-A, some of the presets. Of course, it's a great instrument if you want to design your own sounds, but to get you started, there are quite a few presets in this instrument. So let me play you a few of them. This is called Lavish Pad. So with RAST-A, you can get some really creamy pads. Let's go for the next sound. This is called Pure Analog 80s. And you can tell that there's a lot of things going on when you play those rich chords. You can hear the voices spreading across the panorama. Slightly detuned. Let's try a few more sounds. The next sound I want to try is called Thin Carillon. The next sound is called Wiry Bass. This is called Dynamic Sweet Raindrops, a beautiful pluck. Let's try the cutoff. This is called Golden Logo, and with this one you can really see how this portamento trim works. Ultra thick sound. This is a very interesting sound. This is called Human. Again, very, very indicative of this beautiful filter. This is called Super Pulse. So there you go, guys. This is our brand new synth RAST-A, an instrument that sounds beautiful, warm, and full of character. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to learn more about how to create amazing sounds, don't forget to watch our other video on sound design with RAST-A. As always, don't forget to let us know down in the comments what you'd like to see next, and happy music making!